and this is something new we're trying. It's going to be the tickets tune-up. I'm going to try and do a couple of these episodes just whenever I'm working on the truck or the camper trailer or anyone else's car that we're trying to do some upgrades on or do some fix-ups or things like that. Keep in mind, we're not mechanics. We're not qualified to do any of all this stuff, and probably shouldn't be, but we are qualified to be in tight asses, so we've had to learn to do it ourselves. When you're on a tight budget and when you're remote, it's really good to be able to know how to do some of this stuff yourself. So that's what's forced us to learn how to do it. So today we're going to be doing a couple of things. We're going to be fixing the rear brakes, so replacing the rotors and pads on the rear. I wore them out on the other side of the truck, so it's had to be fully replaced. And then also installing the Superior dog bone kit and handbrake upgrade. So any questions that you have about what we're doing or any advice you could give to maybe make us do it a bit better, by all means leave in the comment section. Other than that, let's get into it. Alright, first thing we've got to do, get the rotors off and get the brake assembly off. Everything in my truck, as you'd imagine if you follow my Instagram, is just absolutely caked with mud. So as we get it all off, I'm going to give it all a good degrease, a good wash down, just to try and preserve some of the parts, and then a good WD when we're putting it back together, just to try and protect it from any rust or corrosion, and also stop anything seizing up or anything like that. So first things first, calipers off. Well, I suppose recommended tools, I hope that we've got the sprinkler system running, and I hope that's not putting in too much noise, so we'll see how that goes. Recommended tools, just good set of sockets. Personally, a good little rattle gun or something like that. I run all Makita gear, being a carpenter, and sockets, a couple of pry bars, a bunch of rags, degrees of WD, grease, Loctite. Else. Anything you've got that's a really long bar just to help get everything off, and also a half decent torque wrench when you're putting everything back together, spaces back on, rotors, wheels. It really should be torqued up. You know, that's the factory specification, so you really want to stick to that as we go on. So let's get started. I really recommend is these long set of spanners for ages, and they're really useful. Provide good leverage, but they're not a really big long bar. Be sure not to lose these. Very important as you go back in. I'm saying everything's absolutely taken. While we're going here, it's always a really good thing to not let your brake line twist up or anything like that. So just find it somewhere safe to sit while you're working on it. And while I've got this cracked open, I'll actually push the piston back ready for the new pads. So we'll get that happening as well. I actually have a little piston pusher, had from back in the day, and the best thing to use is just the old brake pad. Chuck it in there. Wind the puller. One thing to remember while you're doing this is just to make sure you check the reservoir under the bonnet, which I'll throw a quick shot in. So that's what I'm talking about there. As you can see, the reservoir's filling back up. Just take it slow, otherwise you're going to have to pump the reservoir out a little bit just to get it back down to your min-max lines. Just something to be mindful of. Get some weight on there. Because as you're pushing the piston back, obviously it's pushing the oil back through and it's going to backfill your reservoir under the bonnet. So just something to be mindful of. Check the reservoir's not going to overflow and just put brake fluid everywhere. That stuff's really corrosive. You don't want it on anything. Just go for a quick check. Rotor spacers. If you're really lucky, sometimes these will come off. Otherwise, it seems wrong, but the only way is to get the spacers off generally is to heat and beat, or just beat. As you can see, it does take a bit of persuasion to come off, but once you get that air gap in behind, you can get some pry bars in there. I don't have a blowtorch, so heating wasn't really an option. But I have pry bars and big hammers, so it's not the prettiest way to get it done, but it does work. Yo. There you go. Give that a good clean up. See, just from all the mud and crap that you go through. That's good. We'll give it a little sand up. Good clean. Should be good as new. Alright. Next. Rotor's off. You can see it's probably right on its limit of whether or not you can machine that. And I got a pretty good price from what's it called, online auto parts store. I got Bendex pads, Toro rotors for 160 bucks, 170 bucks delivered. So yeah, I was pretty chuffed with that. I thought, bugger it, we'll just replace it and see what we can do. Right, next up, clean up. Some degreaser. Get in there. Degreaser. Let that sit for a minute or two and do its thing, and then I'm gonna hit it with the hose. It is recommend that you don't get any oils or degreasers or any of that sort of shit on the pads themselves, but this is going to get ample time to dry right back out, and to be honest, it's going to be that tight when it goes back in. It'll wear off pretty quick anyway, so I don't think I'm going to have any dramas there. Yeah, let it sit, let the degreaser do its thing, come back, give it a good hose out, wire brush, and yeah, give it a good clean up. Once that's done, we'll install the dog bone. Now, to do it properly, you really should take the shoes off and pull everything apart so that it's, you're not overstretching anything or anything like that. But I did the one yesterday, and like I said, I'm not a mechanic, so I don't want to go pulling everything apart and having to, you know, keep in mind how to put it all back together again. So I worked out a little trick to get it in without pulling the shoes off. Takes 2 pry bars and a pair of pliers, and yeah, you can pretty much get it back together. So alright, so I'll quickly just cover what this handbrake kit is. It's a superior handbrake upgrade for a 70 series. Oh, I think it says 79 on there. As you can see, it's about 120 bucks. I'm not affiliated or sponsored by or anything like that with Superior. I do run all of their gear throughout my truck, but it's because I like it. It's not because I'm sponsored by them. And then you got the little dog bone kit. Sorry about that alarm. Dog bone kit for 7 focus for a 70 series as well. It's about 45 bucks. So idea, you probably could just run the handbrake kit. Camera, can you see me there? So you probably could just run the handbrake kit on the truck and it would be sufficient, but they recommend the dog bone. It just helps push the shoes apart at the top. And having a look at how the handbrakes work, what I think it does is actually helps stop your forward or rear, can't remember which one when I was looking at it, motion, because the top of the shoe is actually making better contact than just the bottom. So yeah, either way it widens the top. So whatever the technicals are on it, I'm not 100% sure. You'd have to look it up yourself, but yeah, we should be good. That's the kit. And so it's about 170 bucks all up. I went and picked it up from the boys, didn't get delivered or anything. Yeah, fingers crossed I'll have one of the only cruisers with an actual working handbrake. Literally that online order store, 170 bucks. Delivered. So I'm going to put this back in. Slides in. Adjust it down to the bottom. Now, I've looked everywhere online and could not find one thing that actually says properly how to adjust your handbrake. Like our recommendation of do it till it's tight and blah blah blah. The only thing I did find was one guy took the gamble. He says, one, you adjust it up until the rotor tight and won't move, and then come back 8 little clicks on the thing. So that's great. And that feels pretty loose. From everything I can work out, it's a real fine line between too tight and too soft, and most likely you're going to have to drive the car and actually see how it feels and see what it does. If you feel it binding, then you have to stop, take the wheels off. For me, it's real pain in the ass to take the pieces off. So I'd rather be on a little bit of the looser side. With the handbrake upgrade kit in the throw, it should still work. So I just want to be probably slightly less than recommended, and handbrake make the rest up, I'm hoping. So that's back on. Spaces, give them a good clean up. Give the spaces a good clean up. Make sure it's not too gritty on the inside. They can go back on. I run a medium top. Yeah, medium hot top. It's this is one of those things where people choose not to or to do. You just got to decide what's best for you. I don't want them falling off. I do a lot of decent full driving, so I'm sort of over precautious when it comes to the wheels and spaces being correct. And then one thing I always do is torque them up correctly. You torque them up to the wheel specification. So on the cruisers, I believe it's 90 to 110. It's probably 90 for your alloys and things like that, and then 100 to 110 for your steelies. So I run 110 on the spacers and 110 on the
Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. We the one. We the one. Yeah, out of the darkness I rose up. Gold in my soul, it's a gold rush. Yeah. Honor and freedom, I toast up. Kicking game on the snare drum. Hard on the beat, let it bleed out like sacrifices. Cut it open, emotions. Spilling like oil and coasting. Therapy for my mental, I'm pinning a pistol and shoot down the criticisms individually. I heard the voices that told us.
I'll just say it again to be a broken record. I'm not a mechanic. I like to just get in and have a go. Try and do it myself. So there will most likely be things that mechanics are saying I'm doing wrong, but you know, I'm doing it myself. I'm having a go.
They only made me go John Jones. HGH, I got the shortcut. Got on my side, you got bad luck. Look at how they all doubt us, yeah, they doubt us, yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs.
Now for the brakes. Give you good brakes. If you like me and full drive a bit, everything's gonna come with the plus. So I just like to give everything a little wire brush. And just get some of the crap off if you can. One of those things where you can. I don't think it's required.
Of attention deficit, hyperactive disorder, always out of order. I never had a chance though, but I would've wished on every single sad song. Never really.
Again, everything gets a good clean.
Zoning by the opponent. Opponent kids like me, Satan sees an opportunity, making me feel immunity. As long as my community can sin like me, there's nothing more you need than you can be at peace for your life. And realized I was swallowing lies instead of my pride, and I had to give my life to the eternal prize. Now
Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, we the ones, yeah, we the ones, we the ones, yeah, we the ones, yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, we the ones, yeah, we the ones, we the ones, yeah, we the ones, yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, we the ones, yeah, we the ones, yeah, we the ones, we the ones.
As you can see, everything's back together now. New rotors, torque been set up in there, new pads, space is all done, torqued up. Yeah, last step, wheels back on. So there's every chance the handbrake could be over adjusted on the far side. I'm being in the dark and rushing, to be honest. Pretty happy with this side. Like I said, probably the best way to even get an understanding is to just go for a drive, see what it does. If you feel like it's binding or get a bit of smoke or you can hear it, now obviously it's too tight, you're going to have to whip the wheels off and back it off a bit. Other than that, next up we've got the handbrake kit. Alright, so next I'm chucking the handbrake kit inside the vehicle. I'm not going to do an install on that, like I might do a little time lapse or something of me putting it in, but if you want an install video on that, jump over to the Superior website or YouTube, and their install video is pretty mint. They pull the chairs out, they can see it a lot better and clearer. Last test, see if we win this time. Handbrake, 2 clicks, still rolling. Would have been about 5 clicks. Yeah, ever so slightly rolling. That's not rolling at all. So that's probably about half pull. You can see that. That's rolling. That's probably about half, like I was saying. That's holding good. Alright, so all done. As you'll see, the held in reverse really well. Going forward was still just rolling slightly. It was a pretty steep hill. It was actually the base of the hill in the background. So I'd say it's probably, 30 degrees at least. All in all, it definitely changes the throw on the handbrake. I definitely think there's probably a little bit more adjustment I should do in the wheels. and tweak that up a little bit, and I think I'll get a lot better response out of it. But you can definitely feel the throw on the handle's much shorter due to the kit. So yeah, overall I'd say it's a success. We'll let it bed in for a week or two and see what difference it makes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So that was brake pads, rotors, handbrake adjustment, handbrake upgrade, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'd call that a reasonable success. It's a lot better than it was, which is good. So yeah, this is the TIK3TS tune-up. Something I'll hopefully run every now and then, just whenever I'm doing some upgrades or fixes on the truck. Let you know how us cheap asses do the fixes. And yeah, I'll see you next time. If you liked it, hit the like button, hit subscribe if you want to see some more. Leave some comments down below if there's anything you think I could do to make those things better that we did do, or some little tips and tricks for me. Or if you have any questions that you think I could help with, be sure to leave a comment. Until next time. Peace.